Now they know I have carrots, so I'm going to hang it over here. Oh, and get them trained again to come to the fence. So you can go home smelling like I do. I think some things are worth a shower. I love it when it's just a little nub and you just learn to trust them. And you gotta like hold on really tight and they'll like that, and then you break it off in their mouth. They're very sweet, but they are definitely, I don't know if it's a but they are food motivated. And they're like big teenagers. All right, go ahead, take the whole thing. Oh, hey, nice bite. Good job. Good job. Aren't they sweet? Aren't they lovely? I love their lips because they won't bite you if you're not used to horses. I think it's important to know how to do these things. If your hand is flat, they're not going to get your whole hand in their mouth. It's this that maybe by accident they would get you a little bit, right? And of course, the most important thing is don't be afraid. However, doesn't mean there isn't something to be afraid of, because horses can get feisty. Because they'll fight over food, they'll nip each other. They're just being horses. And we're the ones that label it as right or wrong, call one horse a bully or whatever. They're just being horses. And I think that's sometimes true of people as well. Some people are wired to be feisty. You love it, right? You know what I'm talking about. Some people are wired to be feisty. Some people love them and accept them as they are. Because you're probably not going to change. You just realize that you have to respect that risk factor. Risk that somebody's going to get emotionally intense. But it doesn't make them wrong. It's just they're doing it the wrong way. Right? I mean, it's often the case that people will get passionately entwined with a truth that they have to get out. They want to be heard. Right? And then they ruin the broth, so to speak. They put too much angst into the system, and they get a different result than they intended. Getting too angry is a failure, even when you're absolutely right that whatever that thing is that you're raging against or for, you're probably right. Otherwise, you wouldn't have your panties in a bunchie. Usually. Either way, I think it's really important for everybody to recognize that we're all on a different journey, and some people react differently than others. Some people are naturally under-reactors. When in doubt, don't intensify your emotions and stay cool. And other people tend to really be very, very comfortable and, as these goes to 11, where they get super intense. I know a lot of people like that, and they're brilliant. They help make the world go round, but they also need to learn how to, soften their temper and speak more kindly, because there's a consequence, to saying the worst possible thing that you could just because you're angry and you want to win the argument. Doesn't mean that you should say it, because you'll pay the price. All right? So the only way to win is to not battle at all, to rise up above the battleground. To make forgiveness your way, acceptance, the central principle with which you walk through the world. And you love everybody as they are, because if they're going to change, it's going to be based on what they want to do and not what you force them to do. So you love them as they are. And that's about stepping out of judgment into acceptance, which does require forgiveness, and it does require releasing certain beliefs. Hello, could you guys hear that? I normally call the male Sir Farts a lot, but it was Princess this time. I was tooting up a storm. My horse. There you go. Neighbor's horse, in truth. Yeah. It's what they do. We have to let go. We have to let go of our judgments. It's part of the human journey. And I'm not saying it's easy, because it's a pain in the ass. All the judgments that are in our minds that we just sort of learned, and it becomes an automatic program, an automatic thought, a consequence of a certain situation, and then you have that thought and you go, that's not loving. that is not inclusive. That is not egalitarian. That is separation based, and I don't believe in it, and therefore that thought is not me. And in the realizing that it is not you, you realize who you are. When you realize that love-based feels good because it's congruent with your plan as well, and you realize your connection, not just to other people, but to the whole big ecosystem. It's all based in harmony. It's all based in balance, homeostasis, ebb and flow, yin and yang. There really is no drama. It's just what we create with our projections, our expectations, and our judgments. All just thoughts in the mind. Thoughts that don't need to continue. I lost my horse as they walked over here, so I figured I'd move a little bit so you can look at their butts more clearly. I mean, I know that not everybody has horses outside their house, and I haven't always. Maybe I won't forever, but right now I'm just loving living closer to nature again. And I'm here to report that the lifestyle that I've been living for the past couple of years out in the forest, watching nature, being quiet, it's allowed me to clarify a lot within my own mind. And a lot of the jumbly thoughts that weren't me, one by one I wake up to them and go, that's not my plan. That's not of me. That was a program that I implanted in my own mind in a moment of realization and certainty and judgment. And I shoved it off like a boat that just continued on coasting into my present moment. But I never really fully evaluated whether it was true. And I judged myself for being incompetent, for instance. I think everybody does that. In some category of your life, you think of yourself as incompetent, powerless, because you suck at that thing. Is that suckage permanent? Is it a tattoo on your forehead? Or is it just an area for improvement? Should you choose to give it your full attention? Whatever that thing is, you can become more skillful and knowledgeable about that specific thing, and you can change your perspective to it. And that begins releasing that judgment that you affirmed in the past, but you're no longer going to affirm anymore. That limited thought system is no more. Because you pop that bubble and say, nah, I don't buy that anymore. I used to say that about myself all the time, and I just don't. Because it's not true. And that's what I think growing up and growing into yourself is all about. recognizing the thoughts in your mind that aren't true, where you're lying to yourself to make yourself small and to your perception of safety. Safe is boring. Safe is uninspiring. It's not full of life because it's not who you are. You're nature. Right? Nature's creative, it's expansive, and it's freedom-based. And any thoughts and judgments that you have in your mind that are anything other than that didn't come from your inner nature. It was a learned thing from society. And there's a good part of the society that has developed in a very unhealthy way. And we're capable of changing our minds. We're capable of reevaluating our place in the universe, reevaluating ourselves to get out of that feeling of stuckness. Into the forward motion that leads us where we want to go. Wherever that is. And then when you get there, or on the way to there, you reevaluate, you make heading changes, and you reacquire a new heading that's more to your liking, that fits better and more congruence with the way of harmony as you. And this is a time of great awakening. And an introspective way to operate our minds is imperative. As long as you realize who you are, you realize that you're a good human being, because you've been trying to, deliberately. Your whole life, you've been trying to do the right thing. And you realize that, and you're just doing your best. You forgive the past, failed attempts at success, and get back on the path. Get back on the road towards being you in a larger form, where the multi-dimensional nature of your wisdom shows up in your now moment. And the clarification of mind process is necessary so that you can sort through what I would call dust on the lens. That's what the lies are. The incorrect thoughts that were unloving to you, unloving to others, unloving to the environment, right? The doubt and disbelief that anything can change. Where does that come from? It ain't love. Because love says, hell yeah, we can fix that too. It's what all the wrinkles are for. But we stop using our brilliance when we stop believing that we can make a difference. And we can. And since we have to, we will.
But the book is good. It's good. It's going to be the kind of book, like Transcending Fear, that people will continue to read. That's I don't try to write books where you read the story. Now you know the story. There's nothing else to read. Mm-hmm. I will continue to pick up A Course in Miracles and in conversations with God and Das Energy and Be Here Now. And, like, to me, great.
Right.
You want to live with the book.
Right.
You want to flip and let guidance open up the right page for you, and there's your message. And
yeah,
that's
well
that kind of book.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it's like, one paragraph and then just an asterisk in the middle of the page separating thoughts, and then another thought. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was collections of insights that I posted on Facebook over the past 20 years.
Wow.
I know I'm needed. I mean, I know it'll go on without me, but it'll work better if you have, somebody like me that says the things that I say. Talking about fearlessness and adventure and connection to nature and opening the mind. These are all things that I've been, publicly saying in my videos and stuff like that for a long time. So my time is now. I know that.
Mhm.
Not like a, savior complex kind of a trip. Just I can help. If the brick wall falls down, the bricklayer goes, now's my time.
Right.
That's all it is. There's other bricklayers.
Make the world a better place. Don't you want to make the world a better place? I do. I try. I'll keep trying. For all of eternity. It's what my love requires of me.